that's not good. Don't look at me. Okay, that's a little better. Hi. Hello. It's a mess back there. I was just gonna do a puzzle. You know this. I've been terrible at streaming lately. For months. Been terrible at it. But here I am. I'm gonna try to stream today at least. Microphone's working. Audio volume. Maybe the music's a little high. Just a tickle. Now it's too low. Let's call it right there. Maybe someone will tell me soon if the audio is okay. Hi. I've been working on a lot of stuff. All these projects that are just like inching forward so excruciatingly slowly while I wait for like the thing to happen, the thing where I suddenly have the motivation, which is often just caused by anxiety, like when I realize the deadline is coming up and the anxiety just kicks in. Sometimes it comes in a good way, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what actually happens. Really, it's a mess back there. Got this thing. This is a extraordinarily complicated box that I've been working on for hours because I'm making things too complicated. Anyway, let's do a puzzle. Let's go here. That was the wrong place. Let's go here, and let's go here, and let's pick a thing. Let's pick. Well, that's charming. But this is called Phisto Fortress, which kind of looks like a Fistamafell ring thing, but I haven't read the rules yet. Let's pick, what would be a good keyword for... I don't know if Shadertory has recovered from whatever weird problems it's been having in recent history. Ooh, that's cool. Look at that thing. There's an ancient fortress. Kind of like this. Ooh, do we immediately crash? This didn't have a warning on it that I crashed the stream. Would be a cool way to start. Really? Let's just close this and pretend nothing happened. Do we really just... Kind of impressive, honestly. Normally you get a warning if it thinks the shader is going to be outrageously heavy, you know? I did not seem to get such a warning. So maybe we've just killed whatever invisible version of Chrome that is, which would be a little bit funny. Oh no, I didn't plan for this. What are we gonna do? Okay, wait, maybe we're back. Huh? Let's just not do that one again. Okay, let's try something different. Skoja, how's it going? Let's just do some flames. This seems to be related to Fistamafell. Well, that's super cool. Let's do this one. It's Flames by IQ, one of the great shader authors. Okay, so this is a new, yet to be released Blobz puzzle, and as has become kind of a tradition, now it's up to me to stumble my way through it, which I love to do. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for that. It's just, I don't know, maybe Blobz takes some kind of sick pleasure from watching me stumble through. Are you going on a long drive? Are you going to, is it a parent drive one way or the other, or where are you headed? I just killed the music too. I'm not doing very well with technology today. So, rules-wise, heading to your brother's wedding. Wow, congratulations to your brother. Can I ask your brother's name? It would be really funny if we had the same name and our brothers had the same name. Seems unlikely. My brother's name is very similar to mine, and so I spent a lot of my life being called my brother's name. Both your brother's Brandon. That's different enough. My brother's name is Todd, and not that it necessarily sounds like Scott, but it has like the same, what is that, like assonance. And so in my family I would get called Todd a lot growing up, or Scott or Tuscott. But there's been times in my life where people just started calling me Todd, but it didn't necessarily faze me because I was sort of used to it. Hi Brandon, hi Todd. Hi, Helio. Helio, do you have any siblings? Okay, let's read some rules here. So, I happen to know a kind of secret about this puzzle that I'm not at liberty to say and won't be at liberty to say for several months. So we're just going to do this puzzle in a vacuum. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits in fortress cells, which I have a hard time with, for some reason I can't describe, are larger than the digits orthogonally adjacent. Sorry, digits in orthogonally adjacent non-fortress cells. You're the eldest of 3. Wow. Do you have any Brandons in there, or Todds or Scotts? We've got a whisper here, and the grid is partially covered by fog. So there's a pretty simple rule set. We've got, well, superficially, it's a pretty simple rule set, right? We have fortress cells, which just mean that for any of these fellas, any adjacent cells are less than whatever's in here. We have a good old-fashioned German whispers, which is interesting with the fortresses. You can already see, right? Because we already know that 2 of these are forced to be relatively low. 1 or 2 of these are going to be low digits, right? So across these lines, there's at least some low-ish digits that also have to be bigger than 2 other digits. So they can't be that low. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. And then obviously we have fog rules. Now, the other perhaps implicit rule is here in the title and here in what is exposed in the fog, which is the Fistomafel ring. And I don't even know where to start in the Fistomafel ring other than to say there's a do we call that a theorem? There's a way to prove that the digits in this ring, I believe I'm stating this correctly, Helio will correct me, are the same as the digits in these quadrants. And the determination of that has to do with like some overlapping sets where you can, but basically you can prove that whatever we have in here, whatever this collection of digits is, it will also be collected here. I don't know if that looks immediately useful, but the fact that it's called Phisto Fortress makes it sound like that's going to be an important thing to realize. So where do we start in this fortress puzzle? I mean, to me, the thing that's eye-catching is somewhere on here is a low digit, right? If there is, and this is pretty cool, I think, actually, whatever low digit, we're going to alternate between low and high here. So somewhere on here is a low digit. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that it's here. This digit, or here, has to be higher than 2 other digits because of the fortress rules. So that low digit will be both low, but not too low. And so the low digit, or digits, remember there's 1 or 2, on this line or this line, have to be 3 or 4. If it is 4, it can't be in the middle because it had to be flanked by 9s. So if there are 2 digits on the line that are low, they become a 3-4 pair with an 8 or a 9 in the middle, right? Or this just is a 3. So I think what we're saying, like to start with, is that this is 3, 8, 9, because if this is the low digit, it's 3 or 4 and it can't be 4. If it's the high digit, then both of these are low and they must be 3 or 4. And in fact, there'd be a 4 there, so there is no 8. It's only 9. So I think these are 3 or 9. 9 is, it's very easy for 9 to be big. That also means that one of these is a 1-2 pair. One of these little arrays, or I guess both of them, possibly? Is that possible? It's possibly possible. Now, what do we know about these digits? We know that there is a scenario in which these are, if these are low, they just straight up are a 3-4 pair, right? I think that is true. Like if we have 2 low digits on this line, the only 2 digits that are low and higher than 2 other digits are 3-4. And even that seems challenging, right? To have the 3-4 pair here means you have to have a 1-2 pair like this, I think. But it seems challenging, but maybe not impossible. Now, if if this is the low digit, we've said it's 3, and 3 can only be flanked by 8 or 9, and that makes these, we'd have 3 in the middle, and then we'd have an 8-9 pair here. So I think that's also true here. 3, 4, 8, 9. 3, 4, 8, 9. So I think one of the things we're going to say is that there is always a 3 in here. And maybe we also want to say there's always a 9. Is that true? There's definitely always a 3. And if there is a 3, it's definitely flanked by 8, 9. So there's always a 9. And if this is a 9, we have our 2 low digits, and there's a 4 and a 3. So I think there's always a 3 and always a 9. And then the 4 and the 8 are kind of interchangeable, right? Does that sound fair to say? Like there would be, so in here somewhere there's for sure 3. Now so to get back to, these can't both be low, I think, because if both have the double low, because if we have this 3-4 situation, we end up with the requirement that we have like 2 1-2 pairs here, right? And if that's true, then we can't do the double low here, right? It's not possible to do that anymore, I think, because it would need to be flanked. So we know they both can't be low. Are there any real restrictions on them being high? Yes, the double high means that there's a 1-2 pair here. But that actually seems possible, I think, for both of these to be 3. Then these would all be 8s and 9s, so they have lots of digits that can go below them. And then one of these would be a 1-2 pair. And one of these would be a 2-1, just the opposite version. Now I think we are saying then, actually, we are saying that there's always a 3. So now, no matter where the 3 is, we have to have a 1-2. Right? Whichever of these digits in both of these cases, there's gonna be a 1-2 pair that needs to span both of these. And so, but wow, unfortunately, it's still possible, I think, for this to happen with like the 3 over here with this 1-2 pair, the 4 over here with this 1-2 pair, if this is the 3 and it goes like that. That seems like a thing that could happen in the world. I'm surely making this more complicated. Or like there's probably some obvious reason this doesn't work. But I kind of think that's what we're talking about here. I kind of think we're talking about there's going to be a 3 up here that's flanked by 1 and 2 somewhere. And the thing we've said it can't be is that, oh, actually that doesn't work. Hang on, this actually doesn't work. So I think we're about to say, okay, maybe we know what these are. So the reason this doesn't work, this is the world in which these are both low. So we're pretending these are both low. If these are both low, then these are also both low, right? And these become a 1-2 pair. Now, how do we deal with that? Because we just said that there's got to be a 1-2 pair here somewhere, wherever the 3 is. And that means the only place the 3 could be is here, right? But as soon as we put the 3 here, that means there's a 4 here. And it would need a 1-2 pair. So I think we're about to say, and I think that logic applies both ways. So I think what we're going to say is that these are both 3. Wow, that was really cool. That happened more kind of robustly than I thought it was going to. And not because of the expectations for the puzzle, but because of my own expectations for myself. Okay, so now we are going to remove our low digits from here. Well, we can just not have any. Oops. Sorry, I've been testing the Sudoku pack. Yeah, that's a very interesting break-in. That was very cool. Like especially, it's one of those, I don't know, it's a really pleasant break-in where you know what you're looking at, but it takes a while to sort of, I don't know, put the pieces together of how these relate. I'm sure there's a more elegant way than I just described it. So that also means that we know these to be 1-2 pairs that are low, right? That was part of our statement here. So the thing we have uncovered in the world, we've also kind of limited where 3s go in here, but not that much. 8s and 9s are going to be a little weird in here though, right? Skojo's secret imposter puzzles? No, I am so behind on everything. There's some new Skojo puzzles? I was doing well solving, I was up to like the last couple, maybe on the last page as of a few weeks ago of all Skojo puzzles, but if they're recent puzzles, then I have probably, I'm out of the loop, Helio. I'm doing a bad job. I'm a bad member of the Sudoku community. Bad at staying abreast of anything. 48? Oh boy. Okay. Should I try to do all of them? I don't know. I don't know if I'm emotionally ready for that. It's been yeah, well, we don't have to go into it. It's been a bumpy last month, let's say, for me. So, okay, so we've exposed this. So, and we know, so what does it mean? I guess the like semi-disappointing thing is it does seem possible that these are two separate lines, right? Like we want to hope that they do this, but I don't think there's anything that forces that. Are there some giants? Oh, okay. I'm very curious about this. I would like to know. I've tried to go into this rabbit hole of just making things and working on things. Like I've been making very silly things like this. Like this phone with a screen in it. Why? So you can put it up to your ear and then turn it like this and see insane things. I don't have any reason for this, just making it. I'm also working on the musical chair, which this is for, and a bunch of other projects, but oh boy. It'd be cool if any of them actually paid a serious amount of money, but it's not how it goes. So we want to do what? We have, I think we're gonna keep talking about these. Oh, thanks, Elio. I'm pretty pleased with the musical chair. I dropped, there's on the Discord in the show and tell channel, there's like a video of the current progress. I'm excited about it. Still a lot of work to do in like the next 2 weeks really, but oh boy, maybe that I'm finding the anxiety that's going to propel me forward. So these little nubbins either the problem with this is these can still be high, obviously, because these are very high. Now, okay, maybe we can phrase it this way. If this was a continuous line, then these would be of the same parity. So if these were both high, well, that's still okay, because these are very big numbers. They could only be 6s or 7s, but it could be a double 6 or 6-7 pair or whatever. Well, it couldn't be a double 6 because you'd have 2 1s in there. So that's not a thing it could be. If these were separate, I don't think we know much. Is there a reason they can't be one continuous doodad? Like I'm a little interested in, we've done some work as far as like, you know, we've got some of our Fismafell digits. I don't really know much about where they go, other than they are kind of, oh, well, no, okay, that's funny. You can already see it taking shape, but you know, these digits have to appear up here or in here, obviously, but we also know, well, that's not entirely true. I guess in this case, these digits are eliminated from here. But I guess, you know, there's some possibility, I think, that these digits could just live in outer space over here. But it's kind of interesting to see. Well, no, I mean, these digits are up here, right? That is true. I mean, even just like Phisto aside, 3, 8, and 9 are in this world just by like basic Sudoku. That's not even, we're not even thinking of Phisto. We're just thinking of Sudoku Mafel. So that is a little bit interesting for this digit, perhaps. It's not that incredibly interesting. We know this isn't, well, shoot. If this line does this, if we got a little boomerang, what do we call this? Is this a V pentomino? I'm bad at pentomino names. We know that if this was a 3, it would have to be flanked by 8, 9, which is definitely not possible. But if this doesn't do this, well, okay, let's think a little bit about what it means to do this, right? To do this means that these all have the same polarity. So if this was 3, we just said it couldn't be. So it could be some other digit that we don't know about up here if it was low. Be a little challenging there. It's definitely not 3 because of the 8, 9 limitation. It could be a different low digit, perhaps. Like this is a 1, 2 pair though, actually. So it's also not 1 or 2. So this is okay, well, period. This is not, these are opposite digits, so these are opposite digits, which means this is not 1 or 2. And if this is an L, it's not a 3. And if this is an L, it's not a 4, right? Because this would be double 9. So what we're saying is if this is an L, in the world where this is an L, these are both low digits that are not 3, and they are not 4, because 4 would need a 9 there, but they could be 1. I think they could still be 1, 2. We're talking about if these are, we've already said these are not low digits, I believe, because we can't put, if this is an L, a V, 1, 2, 3, or 4 here. And for it to be high, we're saying that this becomes, I believe, a 1, 2 pair, because 3s definitely can't go in here, and 4s couldn't go in here because you'd have double 9, right? So in that case, this is a 1, 2 pair, which is not very restrictive in terms of what could go here, but we're saying these then are high digits that are, these are from 6 or 7, right? Which is good because they could only be next to 1s or 2s. And then this digit is kind of free to be 8 or 9, I believe. That's all in the scenario where this is a single connected line, though. And I don't know that we know if that is a single connected line. I was hoping to prove that it couldn't be. Is there a reason this cannot be a 1, 2 pair, and this is a 6, 7 pair, and this is 8 or 9? Oh, if we make this a 6, 7 pair, well, that just means this has to be low, right? Because this would see 6, 7, 8, 9. It could also be a 5, so that's not a, I don't think that's a revelation. This 1 or 2 digit is actually a little bit interesting. Okay, maybe, I feel like there's something up here, but let's look at one other thing briefly, is to think about where the remaining this digit is in these columns, like where these digits need to go. Like this digit and this digit, these are really the same low digit, right? And 1 or 2 cannot go in here because it needs to be higher. So that this digit is going to end up down here. I don't know that that really matters to anybody though. It just means that this is here. It also means that this digit and this digit, we'll give it a weird color too, I guess, is definitely in here. But I don't know that that immediately helps me. We know that these are, no, we don't know that. We know if this is an L, that these are not low. I think that's a thing that we believe to be true. But how do we know if this is an L or not? There's also going to be weird business with, well, okay. I mean, in this box, 3, 8, and 9 are going to live in this world, right? And 8 and 9 are never going to be, well, 9 is never going to be in a baby place. Is that a thing to think about in here, actually? Just in terms of like, oh, right, this is a 9. That's the first thing you should see in this puzzle. Right? This just is a 9 because nothing is less. That's the first thing you should notice immediately. That's the actual break-in, Helio. I don't know why it took me so long to see that, but that is a very obvious gimme. I don't know that I think we still needed to do this logic, but that is just handed to you on a silver platter. It is true. Now, what does that mean in terms of our nineness? I still don't quite know what's going on here. 9 is just handed to me. Just handed to me. Embarrassing. It does mean 8 must be next to a 9, which is a bit interesting, right? Like, so 8 is going to be a bit limited. 8 is going to have to exist next to a 9. Let's think about this for 1 second. Like, 9s are obviously ruled out of all these. So 8 must exist in a corner, I believe. And 8 must be next to a 9. Because that's the only thing that's going to be bigger. And 7 could be next to an 8 or a 9. So I guess the thing to think about with 6, 7, 8, like they're going to be orange digits that are flanked by orange digits. The 7, though, I think maybe has a escape route here or here, if one of these is 8. I feel like we didn't finish thinking about this. I want to know what the other digit is that lives in here. The other digit that lives in here is from this world. Oh. Well, one thing we can say for sure, I think, is that there are never any 1s or 2s in our Phisto corners, right? Because the entire Phisto ring is made up of fortresses that must be bigger than 2 digits. So there's never a 1 or a 2 in the Phisto corners. I think that's just a true statement, right? And so Helio, you're the best cheerleader as I muddle through this. So we already talked about how 1 and 2 couldn't be here if this was 1 and 2 can't be here, period. just by pure Sudoku. But it also helps prevent this from being low if this is an L, because 3 can't be here and 4 can't be here. I still don't understand how we determine whether or not we have this. We probably need to think about this in a very foggy way, meaning think about like what is actually available to us. It does mean that 1s and 2s are definitely in these little party regions. It means that we know that in 9s actually are a bit nines obviously can't be like in this world, but I think unfortunately 9s can do this. And 9, it's easy for 9 to be bigger than everybody. So as far as like what remains here, what do we think these are? Like for this to be an empty rectangle? I don't know that I've heard that. I don't know that I've heard that term before. An empty rectangle, the old empty rectangle. I was thinking, Helio, like once it starts to get really gloomy here in Portland and the sun sets at 4 o'clock and all of that, that's when it's, when you don't, right now it's still beautiful outside most days, but on those days, it's kind of like, may as well just stay inside in front of the computer. I feel like that's the time when I need to sit in and start trying to construct puzzles. I'll need some mentors. I'll need you and Blobz and Skojo. Okay, sorry, I'm just distracting myself. But this is what was given to us, right? So this really feels like the thing to latch onto. This can't be very high or very low. So well, it can be very low. It can't be kind of low. And let me just say what I mean about this. So this could be this digit, right? So it is possible for this to be a 1 or a 2. That is possible. It's definitely not a 3 because 3 is right there. It's also definitely not a 4 because we know the 4 is in the like Phisto corner here, right? It's obviously not a 5 because it is it's on a whisper, and I think it could be a 6 with this as a 1, or a 7 with this as a 1 or a 2. Meaning this blue digit is either here or here, I think, right? Because this also can't be 8 or 9. So this it's kind of interesting. So it means that this dark blue digit, I think, is either it exists just here directly, and then this is... Oh, we suddenly have problems with that, don't we? If these are connected, shoot. Well, okay, let's talk about this from both sides, because the same rules are going to apply here. This could be the cyan digit, or it could be this. This could also be the opposite of that. Like when we think about where those other 1, 2 digits could be, we know they're not in here. And then the dark blue is obviously not there. The thing that's funny is dark blue could be here, or dark blue could just be here. Dark blue can't be here. I mean, there's no inside here. There's never 1s or 2s in there. There's never 1s or 2s in there. So let me, I feel like we have a problem here though, if these are connected, I guess is the thing. Because if this is a 6, this is definitely a 1. If this is a 6, this is definitely a 1. And then if they're connected, this is definitely 2, this is definitely a 7, and this is 8, 9. So I think we talked through that and we felt okay about that. But the other way around, where if these are the low digits, then these, no, we said that's not possible. We've already determined that's not possible. For these to be the low digits if it's connected. So these can only be 1, 2 if there's a disconnect here. Right? Like, because if these are all 3 low, we know there's a problem here, because what could we possibly put in here? It's not 3 because we can't have 8, 9. It wouldn't be 1, 2 because we see both 1 and 2. And it's not 4 because we'd have a double 9. So the only way these can be low is if this is a split line. So we probably need to think about this, because also whatever digit goes in here is lower than this. So these can't be exceptionally high, right? They can't be high at all, because this is a maximum of 7. Okay, I think I'm making this too hard. This digit, let's talk about this digit for a moment. It's not 1 or 2 because it's not bigger than enough digits. It's not 3 because it's seen. At this moment in time, it seems like it could be a 4. Seems possible, I think, for that to be a 4. Seems like it could be a 5 because it's not on the whisper, right? Seems like it could be a 6. Seems like it could be a 7. It's definitely not 8 or 9. So this is relatively limited, right? If this is a 4, this is a 1, 2 pair, right? I like, that's because there's no 3s here and it's got to be lower. If it is a 5, if we put a 5 here, this is also a 1, 2 pair, because we can't put 4s here because we can't put 9s here. So if this is 4 or 5, it's a 1, 2 pair. If it's 6, it's a 1, 2 pair, because it still can't be 3, it still can't be 4, and it can't be 5, because regardless, this is German whisper, right? Like, it doesn't matter if it's connected or not. There's no 5s on it. Now, if it's a 7, is the place where things get annoying, because if it's 7, it's possible, I think, for one side or the other to be like a 1, 2, and the other side be 6. So let's go through that one more time. It is possible for if this is a 4, this is definitely 1, 2. It's never a 3. It's never a 4. It's never a 5. But I think in the case that this is a 7, you could have a 1, 2 pair and then have one of them be a 6. If this is split, if we have a split in this line, I think it's possible for this to be true. So I think, not even thinking that hard about the German whisper, just based on this, I think this is our array of digits. If this is a 6, this is definitely 1, and this is definitely a 2. That makes this a 1. If this is 6, this is 1. This is 2, this is 1. And then this is 2. So if this is 6, this is 2, I think. I say that because if this is 6, this is definitely 1, so this is definitely 2, so this is definitely 1, so this is definitely 2. So if this is 6, this is 2. And if this is 1, this is 2. No, that's not true, because because that goes around. It does go around. So the same rule applies. If it's 6, if this is 6, this is 2. So I think there's always a 2 in here. Is one thing that we're saying, right? That there's, no matter what, there's a 2, because if it's either a 1, 2 pair or it's 6 with a low digit, and the 6 is going to do this thing where it's like 6, 1, 2, 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So there's one of these is always a 2, I think. Oh, really? Is that the empty rectangle thing? The bouncing around? It's cool. I'm sure there's a like smoother way to see this. Like I can kind of see the, I can kind of see the relationship. Sorry, what did you say? Or the, you said the foggy pair. Oh yeah, right. The 7 being eliminated here. Right. Oh, of course, right. Yes. Coming from the other direction, just thinking about what digits could even go here, irrespective of this, all that was really available was 1, 2, 6, 7, and then the fortress un-7ifies it. Right. That is probably a much more reasonable way to think about this. So I realize I'm being very slow here. I'm still a little stuck on, like, is this person here? Is this a contiguous whisper? Like 7. What I'm feeling like, and maybe this just isn't true, is that we're gonna like break it such that it has to be. I don't know. How do we know that? Or do we have enough information? I mean, we have. These can't be 2, right? Because if we've just said one of these is 2, but if I make this 2, then this is 1 and this is 2, and they're both seen, right? So I think we're saying there's no 2 in here. Is that true? Is what I just said true? If I make this a 2, then this is 1, 2, 1, 2, and now we've broken this so there's no 2. So I want to say that there's no 2 here. And as soon as we do that, how do we make this work? I guess, because these can't be double 1. Right? If we do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and it would, there's definitely no double 1. So one of these is absolutely from 6 or 7, right? Like that's just required. And if it is 6, it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's what we said, right? Like this. No, wait, I'm sorry. That was backwards. We said if this is 6, then it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But if this was 6, this is 1, but I guess this could still be 6. Is that possible to have 6, 1, 6, 1? No, it's definitely not, because then that would break these, because we see both of these. So how weird. I realize there's something much more clear here, but we're just going to stumble our way through it. The thing that's interesting, and I'm sure there's like a more profound discovery here, that is like, if I put a 6 here, then this is definitely 1, right? And or another way to think about it is, if either of these is a 6, there's a 1 here. So this is definitely a 2. So wherever the 6 is, this is a 2. 1, 2, 1. But I guess what I'm wondering is it possible to have it's not possible to have double 6, but is it possible to have like 6s like this, I guess, is my question. because that would do 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So no, it's not. I don't know if I'm phrasing this well. I think I'm saying that we can't, that both of these lines can't have a 6. Well, that's obvious. Both of these lines can't have a 6 because if they both had a 6, they'd both have a 1 and these would both be seen. So these definitely aren't both 6. I don't know that helps me with this nugget. We know, or we have stated to ourselves, that for this to be continuous, this is 6, 7. This is 1, 2. And this is 8 or 9, right? That's a thing we have claimed. Could this be 8? What am I doing up here? I feel like I'm very close to this. It just feels like there's some very obvious reason that this doesn't do the thing, you know? It doesn't do the thing that I want it to do. This digit we do know is going to be in Fismafell land, but it seems like it has a lot of positions to do that. Now, these just aren't under the same pressure. I mean, they are under, that's not true, really. They are under quite a bit of pressure. They're definitely not 1, 2, 3. So actually this is the same, right? Because it's definitely not 1, 2 just by fortress logic. So all of these, they're not 1, 2 just by fortressness. And these two are also not 3. So they're 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, and neither of them are 8, 9. So actually these have the same restrictions, meaning these aren't outrageously high. You know, because this, again, if this is a 4, in this case, yeah, that's a little tricky to know where this fellow is going to live. But it means, gosh, it almost means we have like, if we had 4 of these, we would know that at least one of them was up here, right? Is that a thing we would really know? Maybe that's not true. It almost feels true. Well, this, yeah, right. Look, like this, we just don't know that these are the same. Never mind. Because this digit could be here. And this digit could be here. Is that what I need to know, Helio? Do I need to, am I missing, is the fact that I don't understand empty rectangles, is that what's harming me here? If I got the empty rectangle-ness, would that save my, would that pave my path forward? It feels so close, though. I feel so close. I feel like I feel like it's here. I mean, I feel like I am interested in that, but I feel like the thing I want to happen is here. We have said, so I guess the place we're stuck on right this minute is if this line is continuous, we know what it is, or we know it's makeup, you know. But we're still entertaining the idea that it is a split line. And the only way it's a split line is if one of these is a 6. Right? Okay, let's think about it this way. If this line splits, one of these is absolutely a 6, right? This or this. And that means one of these is absolutely a 1, and it's absolutely next to a 2. So in that case, we'd have 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. This would be a 2, right? And so the other digit would be a 7. So I think what I'm trying to say is that in the case that this is a normal, contiguous, continuous whisper, there's always a 7 here or here. But I think what I'm also trying to say is that if it is a split line, then it is like 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. There's a 6 here, and there's a 1 here. This is a 2, so this is a 7. So one of these digits is always a 7. I think there's always a 7 in here. And that 7 pairs with either 6 or it pairs with 1. So one of these is always a 7, and it always is next to the 2. Is that true? Maybe that's not true. I think it is true because if one of these is a 7, if that's true, this other digit, there's always a 6 here, and it's either 6. Is there a scenario? Yeah, we already said if it's 6, there's a 2. Or there's a 6 here and it's a 1, and that's the 2. So there is always a... I think you're right about that. That is true, right? That's an easier way to say the thing I am saying in a complicated way. The fact that there's a 2 here, the 2 is only going to go next to a 7. Helio said it in the way that was 10 times more simple than the complicated way I was saying it. You don't have to travel around the world to know that on a whisper, if you have a 2, it's next to a 7. That's just me making things complicated like I like to do. But what does that do for the other side? What that seems to do we end up with a 2, 7, which forces a 2 here. And then just like throws a 2 in the dumpster. And then on the other side, we always have a 6, 1. We just don't really know the order of it. So do we know anything about the 7 situation? Always going to have a 2, 7. Do we need to think about this digit? We know this digit sees 7, 8, 9, and that's the reason 6 is afraid of 7. Could be a 1, 6 or a 1, 7. Oh, you're saying maybe there's a world where this is a double 7 and there's no 6s at all? Hadn't really considered that. You mean its brother over here? Yeah, which in that case, I guess. Gosh, these feel like they want to do something, don't they? They feel like they want to make a difference in the world. You're right. It is a possibility that this is double 7. Which would kind of throw the 7s out of the middle. What is the remaining digit that is in here, everybody? It's one of these. How do we know this, everyone? It's really the 7 here that's cramping my style, right? If we could get rid of the 7 here somehow, then we know this is 1, 2. This is only allowed to be 6 because of this 7. Is that a thing we need to think about? The fact that 6ness here is only afforded by 7ness here. Which throws 7s out the window. One way or the other. That's our only option then. One of these is absolutely a 7. there's a question about whether or not this is. Gosh, so much just hinges on whether or not this line connects. Is there something else that would like help us break this symmetry? Or is there more pressure that we could put somehow? Do we need to think back in here? I guess the thing we need to remember is, okay, 7 does have to be next to an 8 or a 9, right? Is that at all helpful to us? I mean, unfortunately, it still seems like 7 could sneak in here. These just give so much leeway. This person seems like they could still be an 8 or a 9. This person is not 1 or 2, but it seems like it could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Seems that way. Four forces a 1, 2. 5 forces a 1, 2. 6 forces a 1, 2. 7 allows a 1, 2, but also allows a 6. So, and there's always a 2. I guess we kind of have a question of where the 1 goes if we do the 6, 2 thing. So if we put 7 here, and we allow this to be a 6-2 pair, and 1-2 sees this. Just thinking about where 1 is allowed to exist in the world. I'm talking about this being a 7. But I guess that's not true because, right, we do allow the idea that if this line is split, we don't allow that. The only way we allow this line to be split is if this is 6-2, because of the way things roll around the world. And so if this line is split, where is the 1? We know that one is never in here. Okay, let's think about it this way. Maybe this is almost it. Okay, I feel like we're close here. Let's think about this. Where is 1 in here if this line is split? Sorry, if we allow the 6, let's say that. If we allow a 6 to be in here, where do we put the 1, right? There's no 1 in there. If this is 6, we've said it goes 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, so this is 2. So in that scenario, it's 6-2 pair, there's never a 1 there. There's a 1-2 pair looking here, right? So it can't be in there. 1's never in the Phisto corner because it's never in the Phisto ring. So in that scenario, in the scenario where we allow splitness, 1 can only be here or here, right? What does that mean? We know one of these was a 6. Look, if this was the 6, this would be the 1, and that would put the 1 down here. But that doesn't seem to harm anything, you know? It doesn't seem to cause any grief. So it does mean, I mean, we know 1 is sort of in this, like, little angle, but we don't, one is there or there. Does that help in any way? I guess another, the kind of like, inverting that thinking a little bit, if we don't allow the 6, there's still too much leeway, I think. One being here. The one being here also like makes a 1-2 pair down here. I don't know if we care about that, but that is a true thing that would happen. Like if we have the if a 6 is in here, do we end up with the 1 and we end up with a 1-2 pair? That doesn't seem too upsetting to me. That doesn't seem too harmful. Do we know? Okay, let's think about the relationship between these for 1 second. Do we know that? Do we know anything about this relationship? Like by putting an 8 here, we'd be saying these were both 9, and we'd be saying these were both 8. But I don't necessarily think that's a problem. Well, okay. Let's think here for a second, and here. These digits, what are they doing? Not only are they not 1, 2, or 3. Okay, let's think about these. I like these. They're obviously not 1, 2, or 3 because we see 1, 2, or 3, right? If we try to put a 4 here, what can we put here? We don't have 2 digits that are lower than 4 that we could put here. In fact, we don't have any digits that are lower than 4, so that's not allowed, right? If we try to put a 5 here, we need 2 digits that are lower than 5. We can have 4, but that's all we can have. We can't have that. So these are 6, 7, or 8. So these are high, right? Oh my gosh, life is yours. Life is yours. What am I going to do with my life? I want a career change. Here's the thing. I've been doing like the work for hire stuff I do for like 10 years. I don't want to do it anymore. And I kind of haven't done it this year, and I've been way less stressed out, but I've also made no money. So how do I get people to give me money to make weird inventions without also having to be like an influencer? Because that seems like maybe the answer, but I don't want to do that. How do I do it? I need you, give me some career advice. You're much older than me. You can be my mentor. So, okay, so these are highnesses. These are your highness. We have determined some highness here, which means these digits are now entrapped in the Phisto. Make my own gallery, get funded by the state, sell pieces for millions. Here's the problem. I live in the United States where arts funding is not a real thing in the way it should be. It definitely exists, but man, it's a hassle. And you have to play I don't know. That doesn't, that's a world that I'm not excited about. But what about this? Look at this thing I made. Sounds good. Now maybe I could move to Norway and get some arts funding. Weird invention, get money. I know. Ah, boy. I don't know. I feel like I could just. If it wasn't so expensive to be alive, it would be easier, but it's very costly to be alive, especially in Portland. Okay, so we have highified these, which sounds pretty good, right? It does unfortunately still allow 7s here. But that feels like a minor achievement. This, annoyingly, can be a... Well, the way these are pretty restricted too, right? I see. Okay, I see tomatoes flying. Yeah, we're getting closer. I know it's sad. I have made so many things. I've made so many things that somebody who cared could probably have sold, but I've never been able to do that. I've made so many. Do you want to buy heat? My heat bill this last month was somehow 3 times what it normally is, which is too much money. I don't know why. I think some pretty popular streamer messaged me about using it, like, you know, let's say medium popularity, like thousands of viewers, and it seems to be hitting heat pretty hard. And now my heat bill is triple what it normally is, and that was with it already being like double what I'd actually want it to be, or even triple. It should be $5 a month actually, is what it really should be. But then usage now, I'm basically 12 times that. Not good. It wasn't you. No, it's a particular, I don't know. Do we call that a VTuber? What do you call it when it's a person on Twitch? A V-Twitcher? Okay, these fellows, let's talk about these fellows for a moment. The problem is they can still, these are not as restricted, but they're not low, right? These are not low digits. Are they? Maybe they can be. If this is a 4 and this is a 3 and this is 1, 2. So actually, I'm sorry, this could be 4 if this is 3. That is a true statement, right? I got it. YouTube video. I don't know. I really thought about that. That seems to be like, there's 2 things that turn me off on that. One, I don't really like editing videos. I really don't. And I don't really want to get caught in like the YouTube game of me doing this in thumbnails. Just don't really like that world. I mean, I know I could do it. I just am not drawn to it. Also, I'm thinking about the that Nintendo philosophy of the blue ocean philosophy, where Nintendo looks at Sony and Microsoft at each other's throats, ripping each other apart like sharks and the water's full of blood. And Nintendo's like, you know what? We're going to go over here and we're going to make the Switch. And it's going to be the biggest thing in the world because we're not even trying to compete with you. Like, you guys duke it out with your whatever, graphic specs, whatever. We're going to just go do this and make this crappy console that is garbage hardware for 7 years, and everybody's going to eat it up. And that's smart, I feel like. And so when I look at YouTube and I see 70,000 people competing for the views of doing the thing of like, I made this wacky thing, look at me. Oh boy, I don't know. Maybe I should become a criminal. Maybe that's what I need. I was thinking about this Star Trek episode called The Enemy Within, where there's evil Kirk split from good Kirk. And I'm traumatized by this episode because good Kirk's defining trait is not that he's just a good person. It's that he's like totally indecisive and unable to accomplish anything. So almost the implication is like, it is evil that lets you succeed. And so maybe I should just become evil and then succeed. I mean, all billionaires are evil, so that like seems to stand the test, right? Like, the more evil you are, the better you do in this world. We definitely have a society that rewards evil. So maybe it's time for my villain turn. What will be my first crime? Should I steal the Declaration of Independence? Okay, we were thinking about these. A little bit. These are not 1, 2. It feels like this could be 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, right? But, and these, what can these people really be? If this is a 6, this is definitely a 4 or 5 pair, right? That's true for this as well. If this is a 6, this is definitely a 4 or 5 pair. If it's a 7, it has at least one of those digits and possibly also 6. So, what is not... I'm sorry, there were tomatoes. Are you secretly evil? Is that true? I could believe it. I believe it. Just thinking about this a little bit, like what is allowed or what isn't allowed. we know that the 1s and 2s exist in these little wings, right? Like that's just true. And so either they do something like this and make like a little pinwheel, or they like checkerboard. If we do this scenario, this is, in this case, for example, this is definitely the 6, right? Oh, Damasi, how's it going? No, I'm not even using it. I have some boxed up ready to mail out. I was testing them, but then I boxed them up. I have another one in the other room. I should use it. You can see these are the quote unquote final versions that I spent, I don't even know, 100 hours on, maybe more than that. I think they turned out reasonably nicely. Got a pretty good click to them. The keycaps were a huge pain, but I think they turned out reasonably okay. The snap case, not perfect, but not bad. Generally works from a software perspective, except there's a dumb thing on macOS where macOS seems to basically act like caps lock is always on. Ellen Damasi bets those whispers are going to connect into the fog. If they do, then we know everything about everything, right? Like we just know the composition of that line and it unrolls a bunch of stuff. Juggler, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. Well, so I could, JLC PCB actually does do like 3D printing and assembly services now. So I actually probably could just send the whole thing to China. The thing I don't actually know is if they do 2-color 3D printing. Gosh, I should get some aluminum parts. You know what I mean? To make the keycaps. Probably I would still need to make the keycaps. Or like have them actually professionally made, which is unfortunately like not cheap. Can we do, I don't know if they do multiple colors. Anyway, I could. It's possible. It's a possible thing. Okay, sorry, back to the puzzle. Yes, Ellen Damasi wants these to connect. I want them to connect too, because then we would know we had a 6-7 pair, a 1-2 pair, and then 8 or 9. That would be a thing that we just knew. And the world in which they don't connect was the one I just described, where the 1s and 2s do this. And then this is 2 and this is 1. That's the only way to do this, right? Because we said, well, that's a way to do this. I guess this is only allowed if we are in the split, if we're in the split. But it's not, I don't think we have to do it, because I think in the split we can also do whatever, you know, this kind of thing. And I'm sure the like understanding of why that is true or false is not that hard. Yeah, you're probably right. I guess there's, as far as paths forward, we banged our head on the German Whisper really hard. Our collective head. Helio, welcome back. And that, I don't see quite what else to do with that. So the next thought sort of is like, well, could we determine what the final Fistomifel digit is? It's something in here. One of these digits is the Fistomifel digit in here. We just don't know what it is. Screaming Ice Cube, how's it going? Which is not, we don't know much about that. So Ellen Damasi is suggesting that we return to box 5. And not only suggesting, Ellen Damasi says that we can get a digit in here, which is this is outrageous, but let's think about it. what digit? So what have we been talking about? We did squish these a little bit. Yeah, okay. Well, we did the logic here. We didn't really talk about these yet. What these can be. These are not 1 or 2 or 3, right? Because they're just seen. They could be as much as 7, I think. So we could have 4, 5, 6, or 7. If this is an 8. Now, we do know there is definitely, there's definitely an 8 here or here. There's definitely an 8 here or here. So we do have lots of room to put 7s. So it's not like required that we put a 7 in here at all. Like that 7 could go next to an 8 or 9. It has quite a few places. When thinking of 9s, is this the kitten song? I do love the kitten song. Yeah, okay, about 8s, like what it means for 8s up here. Let's talk about 8s, because one thing we were trying to either this is like 9 and 9 and this is 8 and 8. If this is 8 and 8, these are instantly ruled out, of course, but then that's okay because this is 9 and 9, right? If that's not true and say it's 8 and 8, we have similarly pushed the 8 here. Oh wait, does that not work? Hang on, sorry. We gotta go through this slowly. Okay, so the 8. Yeah, so let's talk through that slowly. Sorry, I'm gonna be very slow on this. So if I double 8ify this, right? If these are both 8s, then 8 is tossed over here. Well, okay, right. If I try to put an 8 here, what happens? If I try to put an 8 here, these are both 9s, and that means neither of these are 9s, and then the 8's a problem. So that's the easy way to say that there's no 8 there, right? If I try to put 8 here, what does that mean? If I try to put 8 here, this is definitely a 9. And this is definitely a 9. So then what is this? I guess it's a simpler way to say it. If I try to put an 8 here, this is 9, so what's this? So this is very simple to see. If I try to put an 8 here, this is 9, so what's this? So 8 is just placed, right? Is that what we're saying? Are we happy with this? And that this becomes double 9, this becomes double 8. That should have been much easier to see. Wow. Thank you for pointing me there. I definitely appreciate that. That is really cool. I wasn't even, gosh, that's embarrassing. That is awesome. The way the 8s like forced the 9s to break themselves is very cool. So that is exciting. That does give us little nubbins here, which does help us rule out 5s. The nubbins are interesting. Did we determine, are we set in stone? Yeah, we're set in stone that there's no lid, there's no 1s or 2s here or here. Ones and 2s could already only be in those, and then there's definitely 1 and 2 here, and then its partner is here. So this is not 1 or 2. Let's see. How do we want to think about this? No, it's good. No, you're good. It's good. I feel very rusty. I'm glad always to sit and, just inch my way through these. That just feels like how things have been going for me lately. It's just inching through things slowly. I just feel like it's very boring for everyone watching. So my only dilemma is like the tedium of watching me struggle. Anyway, thinking about this, the reason I'm concerned about the lowness is trying to decide, like, given this, can this be high? So it's obviously not a 5. And for it to be a 6, for this to be, if this was 7, this could be 6. But if this was 6, this would be 1, and that would remove 1s anywhere from over here, and that would put, what would we do? We couldn't have a 6 here, and we couldn't have the 7 because that'd be a 2. So there's no 1s here. So this, I believe, is a low digit, which means this is a high digit, right? That's a thing that feels true. And not only is this digit low, it's also not 1 or 2, so this digit is 3 or 4. And if this was 4, this would be 3, and then this would have to be 1 or 2, but I think we think that's okay right this second. I'm not entirely sure about that. Anyway, the fact that this is 3 or 4 means that this high digit has to be a pretty high digit, that's an 8 and 9 in our little Fistomafel corner, but that's... Oh, Helio, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Oh, no, you have to engage with humans? It's okay. Anyway, whatever this digit is, one, it has to exist in the, in the hula hoop. It also has to exist up here somewhere. So this digit does exist at the top of the mountain. Do we have a problem with this being the other half of a 1-2 pair that's there? I don't know that we do. I'm saying if this is a 4. Anyway, so we get that, and then I think we have the same logic applies here, right? Is that true? This digit, the only way this digit could be high. No, actually, this is different. Let's talk about this one. This digit could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just in terms of, what's afforded by this. It's obviously not a 5 because it's on a whisper, but unfortunately, if it is a little nubbin, it still could be a 4 with a 9 there, I think. The 6-1 is something interesting. Oh! Well, wait. So one thing this breaks, for sure. Whether this can be separate. Oh, did we finally learn this? Did we have some revelation? Oh, wait. Oh, you can actually see. Oh my gosh. You can see now. Okay. Sorry. By placing the 9s, we can actually see that this is connected, which we've talked about for half an hour, and then I forgot all about it. Thank you, Ice Cube, for pointing out something that I discussed a million years ago. These obviously go in now. So thanks to these 9s, we know that, which means we know that this is now this, right? Like we now know this. Well, let me think about that for a second. Could this still be a 7? No, we've said categorically that one of these is a 7, right? This is definitely a 6-7 pair. And this is definitely a 1-2 pair. Well, there was a world where this could be 7-7, but I guess the point is this is certainly a high digit. This is not double 6 because that would be double 1. So this is not 6 because it'd be double 1. It's not 7 because one of these is definitely 7. So it is 8-9. So we do get an 8-9 pair here, right? But the thing I was going to say about this, and maybe this is not what to think about, but this breaks this idea. right? We've now broken this idea. Now, that's irrelevant, I think, because now we've broken it in another way. But because now we've forced there's at least a low and a high down there, I guess is a way to say that. So what does that mean? Does still mean our 3 is in this little hat? It does mean that with the other half of the 8, 9 is up there. We have our 1, 2 here, which is a real treat. Does that tell us something about, well, yeah, we know these now, right? So we place our blue, our dark blue, our navy digit, let's say. Sorry, our cyan digit, because this digit is this digit, must be up here, but cannot be in the Fistamafell corner because of the ring. So this digit lands here. Is that correct? And similarly, this digit cannot be in the corner, so it must land here. So this is a 6. And that means we get blue, or navy. Right? Which is very exciting. Thanks, Tomasi. So now, so we get our 7. We do get our, but can this still be a 7? The double 7? Is that a situation we're comfortable with? Yes, it is also a fog of war puzzle. It's not just colored gray. I kind of forgot about that too for a minute. But yes, it is a fog of war puzzle. We get another little nubbin here. We do need to, we know that our 1, this 1, we know 1 is in here. And we know 1 is in here. So we know 1 is down here. 1 in here, what do we know about that? I don't know. This is a 7, just by fortress rules. That means this is the 8. You are not a 7. This 1, 2 did allow any of these digits, though, I think. This is a fairly high person. We still haven't placed our 9 in that neighborhood. Okay, so this could be a 7, though, right? Is that? I think that's a true statement. As far as our 2 placements, 2 is definitely over here, but not there, right? So we do need to get 2 down there, which puts 2 here and 2 here and 2. 2 is up here. 1 and 2. So we know the 1 in here. We just don't know about the 2. I mean, the 2 is, I don't think we quite know yet. This still could be the 4 if that was, this is certainly low, right? Because we do have our little nook. Sorry, I want that to be a different color blue. And we need to think about 3s. Let's think about 3s. What's going on with 3s in the world? 3s. What do we know about 3s? Well, okay. 3s are going to be a problem in terms of fortressness, right? Because the 3s have to be flanked by a 1-2 pair, so that's not it. And a 3 here has to be flanked by a, well, we know this digit too also, don't we? No, this could be a 4. Okay, so, okay, let me mark this real fast and then we'll get back to the 3s. I think this could be a 1. It's not a 2, it's not a 3, but I think it can be a 4 if this is a 9. Back to thinking about this. No 3s there. No 3s in any of these because they would have to be flanked by 1s and 2s. 3 feels like it could be here if this was a 1-2 pair. Am I not thinking about the right thing? We got a lot of digits here. What are we asking about? Row 2, row 3. Okay, you have to forgive me. My mind is focused up here, so let me focus up here for a minute, and then. Oh, what are you? What's this little fella? It's in. There's definitely a low digit up here. Right, I see. Up here, there is a low digit from Phisto allowed digits. So it's not 1 or 2. So 3 or 4, there is a 3 or 4 up here, right? At least. So there's a 3-4 pair. So this is the one. And then this is just a little nugget that has 3 or 4 with 8 or 9 is what's going on up here. Because there's definitely 3 or 4 up here, right? Because it's the only low digit. So there's 8 or 9. So then you're not 4 anymore. This becomes a 5, 6, 7 triple, right? The 4 is definitely next to a 9. I mean, one of these is a 4 with a 9. One of them is a 3 with an 8, right? Is there something else to do with that? So this is just from 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we were talking about 3 is, where's the 3? Row 2, call 9 being a low digit. So I think did I find that in another way? In an alternate universe? Okay, that seems okay. I'm sure there was another way. Yeah, okay, so it is good to think about we have these open fortresses. We must discuss them, right? We must discuss what is remaining in our fortresses. And Ice Cube, you're calling out row 6. What's going on with them? Well, okay, sure. We could just do, I guess, we could do Sudoku. With 9's landing down here. 9's not less than anybody, usually, right? The 8's a little lame. No, it's the same thing for 8. 8's going to be here, but not there, right? Because 8's not less than anything that's in there. The 1 is down there. I know I'm missing extremely obvious things, I'm sure of it. We do have our 1, 2 taken care of everywhere, I think, right? Because we've talked about that 1, 2 needs to be, they're not obviously not allowed in the fortresses anywhere. 3 in a fortress is a bit of a challenge, but not impossible, right? As long as it's flanked by 1, 2. It does mean that, okay, I think this is probably what I was supposed to be looking at. 3's not here, 3's not here. So 3 is in here, right? Because it's not there or there. But it seems like 3 could be allowed here if this is a 1, 2 pair. Similarly, 3's not in there. 3's not in there. So 3 is in this neck of the woods, but I just don't know that I know yet. I guess another thing to think about is there is one of these is a 3. Just think about in terms of like the lowness available to us for this digit, because it could be 4 with a 2, 3. Okay, we haven't thought about this person yet, have we? That it's at least... What is it? This digit is weird, right? This digit is certainly not 1 or 2. It's also not 3 because it's not able to have the little flanking party. Seems like it could be 4 or 5. It's not 6 or 7 or 8, but it seems like it could be 9. Is that true? And we're gonna have the same situation here where this is certainly not 1 or 2. It's not 3 because it can't be flanked by 1 or 2. Seems like it could be 4 or 5. It's not 6, 7, 8. And I'm sorry, this one is not 9. This really is only 4 or 5, right? This sees 1 and 2. It can't be 3 because it can't be flanked. It can be 4 or 5. It's not 6, 7, 8, or 9. So this really only is 4 or 5. That means these digits are very low. So because these digits are really just from I guess they're from 1, 2, 3, 4, but this is not 1 or 2. That's definitely 3 or 4. So for this to be 4, this has to be 3, 1. If it's 5, it can do another thing. I think. That is a number of relatively low digits. Dude, the 2 goes over there. You were able to be 9 here. The 4, 5. So these digits see 6, 7, 8. These are pretty constrained as well. It's not 1, it could be 2. It's not 3, it could be 4, it could be 5. It's not 6, 7, 8, or 9. So this is only 2, 4, 5. And this is only 2, 4, 5, 6, and it's not the 2. I know I'm missing obvious things. Sorry, chat. I'm slightly ignoring you. You have to forgive me. I'm ignoring you just a little bit. Okay, I got to think more about 1s and 9s. Sorry. Let's think about more about 1s and 9s. So 9s. Okay, just thinking more pure Sudoku about the 9 situation. 9. Well, okay, sure. I'm not sure if this is the exact place to look, but let's just think about this for a second. 9 in this neighborhood is not here. So it does mean 9 is there or there. That does like cap the height of this, though, if this was a high digit. So just in thinking, it's not 9 because it's not lower than anything, right? And it's not 8. Seems like it could be 7. If it is 7, this is definitely a 1. Right? If it is 6, this is definitely a 1. And then that's all on the high side. It's obviously not, but it seems like it could just be low. For it to be low. So it seems like it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, right? Which is not a cool, was not cool. It's not a cool or fun way to be. But isn't that true? Like we have kind of any low digits allowed. That's probably not really true. We do know our 2 is in this part of the world. Or 3 is in this part of the world. 4, 5, 9 are up for discussion. But I definitely didn't think enough about 1s, right? 9s. I'm sorry, everybody. I know I'm missing obvious things. You gotta definitively place our 2 here. Is this the whisper to think about? I mean, it's just sitting right there. Like it just wants me to look at it, right? We know that if this is a 4, see, this the 9 possibility here is cramping my style, I gotta say. 9 is in the Have we established this? That we, okay, there's definitely a 9 in this little Fistamafell box. There's definitely a 9 in this Fistamafell box, right? It's definitely in there. There's definitely a 9 in this Fistamafell box. But there's not necessarily one here. But we need at least 3 9s in our Fistamafell boxes. We have 2 of them accounted for. The problem is, this could be one of them. And then they needn't all have one, right? Now what about 8s though? There's definitely an 8 here. There's definitely an 8 here. We already have 3 8s though, so it's not really a requirement. Like we have enough 8s to sort of address okay, wait, but we absolutely have to have a 4. No, we don't. We don't absolutely have to have a 4. We absolutely have to have this digit, whatever this digit is, this 5, 6, or 7, we certainly have to have. The 4 is up for discussion. Life is yours. Tried putting in a 10? I could try. See how it goes. So you're talking about row 4 and row 5. Let's just think about those more aggressively. I mean, we should probably look at this because it's mostly filled in. So we really just have 4, 5, 6, 7 here. So let's think about what that really means. And then in here, we have a lot of low-ish digits to place, right? Particularly the 3. So the 3 is not here. The 3 is not here because it can't be flanked by 1 or 2. Seems like those could be 3s. Seems like it. No, it does. It does. We do have a 4 down here, right? Or did I pencil mark badly? Yeah, because that's a 5, 6, 7 triple. So there is a 4 here. One of these digits is a 4. Are we prepared to say that? I'm positive I'm missing very simple things. Because it's just what I do. So having the 4 in there, 5 of the 6. Am I missing like some obvious Sherman whisper logic? We talked about the possibility that this was also a 7. Now the 4 in here, does that do anything cool for us? Just a little bit interesting. It's not that interesting. We did say the 7 has to be next to an 8, but it seems like we have room for that. I'm probably just missing super silly, simple Sudoku at this point, right? Okay, this person is a little limited because it's not super high digits, right? Maybe this is the place to look. So if we talked about this, it's not 1 or 2. It's not 3 because it can't be flanked. Could be 4, could be 5, could be 6. It's not 7, 8, or 9. So this is just a 4, 5, or 6. If it is a 4, this has to be 3. And this has to be 2. This digit is not as constrained, right? It's not 1 or 2, and it's not 3. But it could be 4, 5, or 6, or 7. But it's not 8. It could be 9. So this digit, nobody likes that digit. Nobody likes it. These can only be so high. So these digits are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this is not 1 or 2, and this is not 1. So that is relatively low. So we do kind of squish our 7 in here. Two could be there or there. 3 is there. 4, Why am I so bad at Sudoku? I feel like there was a time where I thought I was improving. Maybe I don't know. Have I slowed down on puzzles too much? Who can say? You are not 1 or 2 or 3. So this is just 4, 5, 6, 7, right? That's not 4. Because we said 4 was down here, right? So this is, that is allowed to be 3. It's not 1 or 2. It could be 3. It's not 4, but it could be 5, 6, 7. That's 3, 5, 6, 7. I know I'm missing something so silly and so obvious. I feel it in my bones that it's just a silly, simple Sudoku thing, right? I mean, in terms of fortressosity, we know our. I mean, we've kind of. Oh. By the way, blue means 1. I don't know if you know that. That's what this dark blue color means. So this is 1. Okay, sorry. I'm sure you were telling me to see that a million hours ago. Oops. That is embarrassing. I kind of forgot that that's what that color meant. Okay, sorry, everybody. Okay, we got it. We got the 1. We did it, right? We got the 1 together. We all did it together. I mean, I'll take credit for it. It just took way longer than it should have. This, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I didn't color this the other blue, which is just confusing at this point to have different shades of blue. So we get this, which is fun and exciting little treat. What does that do for us? So that we don't know if I mean this has quite a lot of leeway, right? It's obviously not a 9, so this is obviously not a 4. I mean, in terms of what is actually available to us here, if it's a low digit, it can be 2 or 3 only. And then this would be 7 or 8, right? So, okay, how do we want to think about this? If this is a high digit, it's 6 or 7, right? Because it can't be 9. It's got to be smaller than whatever's in here. If it is a low digit, it's not 1. It seems like it could be 2, 3, or 4. This feels like a clunky way to think about this. I'm being clunky here. Now this isn't. Well, maybe it really can be 4, 3, 2. Like the lowness, we have 2 low digits here already. If this was low, then this would be low. If we try to make this a 4, if we try to make this 4, then we have, that's a low digit, that's a low digit, that's a low digit, that's a low digit, that's a low digit. So this is not 4. If we try to make this 5, then these are all low digits, but maybe that's okay. So that does help squish the 4 a little bit. This digit, if it is low, okay. If we try to make this digit low, it's, it can't be 1. Gosh, I guess it could be 2, 7. There's a tiny bit of leeway there. But, so if it's low, it's not 1, it's 2, 3, or 4, but it's not 3 or 4 because that's not 8 or 9, right? So if it's low, it could be 2 with a 7. If it's high, it can only be 9 because we have 6, 7, 8. So it could only be 9. And obviously this could only be 4 if this is 9. Carrying that one further though, if this is 2, then this is definitely 7, and then this is 8 or 9, right? Like that's the only way to do that. However, if this is 9, then this is just a low digit that goes next to 9 that isn't a 1. So, gosh, that's very close. Oh, this isn't a 9 because it's not lower than anything. It is a 2. Good grief. That is just the 2. And we know that because of that, that is just the 7. And we know that that means this is 2, 3, 4. This is only 8 or 9. And this is a full-on connected whisper, which you'll love to see that. That means this is not 2, obviously. That means this is 2, I think, right? Because now we've squished the 2 down. It's not here. This is no longer 1, 2, 3, or 4. This is only a 6 or a 7. The fact that this is only a 6 or 7 means this is only a 1 or a 2. Well, it's a 1, in fact. And then that means I think that the 2 gets placed down here. Can you be a 7? Who can say? Everybody who's stuck with me, I appreciate it. It's always, I never know what to be more astounded by. The sort of kindness of the Sudoku community, which I'm always impressed with, the brilliance of it with the puzzles they make, or just like the pure patience to watch me stumble through puzzles. Maybe the patience is the most impressive part. So these jerks, this still could be a 7, right? That is a thing that is possible. It does mean that this has to be a 9, I believe, because it's got to be bigger than this. That makes this quite high. This particular digit cannot be a 7 because we seem to have not allowed. 7 seems to be here. So it does seem that this is a 6. And it does seem then that 7 is only allowed to be here. So we get a 4, 5 here. We squished something over here? Almost. I have over pencil marked as usual, as is tradition. This is certainly not 1 or 2. It could be a 3. It could be a 4. It could be a 5. It is not a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9. So this is only a 3, a 4, or a 5. Oh, this is also forced now to be a 9, by the way. So we do get this double 9 thing that we were sort of expecting. Like it kind of could only go one way or the other. Like this double 9. Maybe we actually sort of already should have expected this. It does mean that a thing this does mean that it does mean that every like Fistamafel corner does have a 9 in it, which was a thing we sort of thought was true, but now seems to be like definitively true. It seems like we don't 100% know if we do. Every one of them has an 8 as well. So every Fistamafel corner has an 8 and a 9, which now we probably can just see from pure Sudoku. I mean, of course we can see it from pure Sudoku at this point. So what is this person that is not 1 or 2 or 3? So this is just what? This is just a 4, 5, 6 triple. So what are we missing here? It's the 2. And that's the 2, right? And it is, we already have an 8, we have an 8-9 pair here that un-8-9ifies this. That means this is the low end, so this is the high end. That removes the 3, 4 from here. Do have a 3, 4, 5 almost. So like, this is 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I don't think we've quite eliminated anything from it. So again, this is either, one of these is 3, 8 for sure. One of these is 4, 9 for sure. There's probably very obvious fortressry that I am missing. Like this cannot be a 4 because it doesn't have 2 digits that are below 4. it can only be a 5 if this is a 3-4 pair. Oh, column 6 triple? I do have a 3-4-5 triple right there before my very eyes. Thank you. Creamy Ice Cube on the ball. I'm looking at broken, like, sextuples over there. Septuples, when we need to be looking for 3-4-5 triples, which is going to place our 6, I think. Oh, wait, that wasn't true at all. There's a 6 right here. I'm sorry. What are we actually missing? Oh, it's the 1. Not the 6. The 1, and the 1 goes down here, which is exciting. We get a little more gray. Have we fully placed our 1s and 2s? Perhaps. Sorry, just reviewing the state of the world. Wait, you got in trouble with sex? Sextuple? Oh no. Oh no. I did it. I'm in trouble. I'm gonna get banned now. This was actually a septuple, right? No, this is an octuple. Never mind. Where was I looking? Anyway. I know, I'm in trouble. Sorry, banned for life. I deserve it. Okay. So we're in, like, we basically know our fellas here, right? The thing that was, okay, we were talking about this thing and what is left over. Because we have 3, 4, 5, 6, but there's definitely a 3 over here. One of these two digits is certainly a 3, but that's fine because both of these numbers are bigger than that. Oh, we didn't place our 2s. Sorry. We have this 2 to place. Now have we 1 and 2-ified everything? Possibly. We seem to have 6-ified. How did we know that? Who knows? That's a 6, I'm going to say. Which does push 6 up here. I don't know that matters that much. Is this, I'm really curious what this is going to end up being. Well, gosh, interesting. We know that this Fistamafel party box over here has this 3 is already addressed somewhere. If there's a 3 up here, it could be addressed. If there's a 4, then we definitely need a 4 on the ring. Seems like a thing that might happen. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to be thinking about. Oh, this is a 3-4 pair. This is a 5. So there is a 5. We do need to end up with a 5 in our ring land. That seems to make this just a 6-7 pair, right? And that makes this the other half of a 4-5 pair. We got a real mess of digits up here. We have that 3, 4, 5. We have this 4, 5. That doesn't. This just is the 3, right? Where's the 3 in this box must be here. That must be the 4. This is a 3-5 pair now. This becomes a 4-7 pair, which makes this the 5. That's the 4. That's the 3. This is the 4. So we do have to have a 4 on the Fistamafel ring. I don't know if how hard we have to think about that. It means that, well, I guess it looks like only either this is a 4 or this is a 4, right? This is a 3-4 pair currently, which is a 4. So this 4 does meet those needs. I gotta tell you, I really thought this was gonna be a 3, but I was wrong. I was dead wrong. 4 is only next to a 9, which is, I think, gonna push some 8s and 9s all over the place, isn't it? Push here the 9. Did we finish our 9 pushing? We are also going to get some 6s and 7s, right? This is a mess. This is really just the other half of that 5-7 pair, right? And this really is just 3-8. 3-8 pair, So this is a 4, 5, 7, which I guess we could have. We knew that the 4 was over here already. There's probably very obvious fortress 3 I'm missing, because you know how I love to do that. You are only a 3 or a 5, and you're not a 3 because of this reason. So that's the 5, that's the 3, the 5. This is a 6, a 3, a 5, a 4, 6, 6. I really like this, the Whisper Fortress interplay. I think for me, I just seem to, I don't seem to have like good fortress intuition. I don't know how to put that. It's just sort of like spotting sort of fortress shenanigans. I seem to have difficulty with spotting. Some might argue that I have difficulty spotting most things in Sudoku, and what can I say? We do need an 8. So the 5, 7, I don't know that it's really going to come into play. I'm just curious about it. Like the, you know, like this 7 must appear, but it doesn't seem that hard at this point. It seems like it's pretty easy for everything we need to appear in the Fistamafel ring to appear. So I don't know that it's actually that's gonna, I think we had some, like, you know, I'm trying to decide if it was actually, if you actually had to, if that was a requirement to think about well, okay, it certainly helped us with like the nature of the 1s and 2s and ruling the 1s and 2s fully out of this ring and out of the corner, right? And so that seems to have been the main, like, thrust of the, oh no, did I break the terms of service by saying thrust? Like the main impact of the Fistamafel relationship of where the fortress is where the 1s and 2s were placed, which was a pretty tight arrangement that came into focus because of the 8, 9 and what it did in forcing this to be a complete line, which should have been easier to see. That I think was my biggest loss on this puzzle, other than missing the immediately given 9 at the beginning of the puzzle, which should have helped me, you know, probably should have been a hint about the 8, 9 pressure in here, forcing that 8 pretty quickly and forcing all of this. So I think the bulk of my wasted time on the puzzle was thinking about this when the 8, 9 relationship, which was our break-in, which was cool. And I feel like we got that relatively smoothly. I just didn't carry it in here because that untangled this and then put so much pressure all over the rest of the grid. So that is my review of my own bad solving today. And I give this puzzle a very nice rating. I give my solve 2 stars, not nice. Oh, thanks everybody. You people are the best. It is a really cool puzzle, and I Blobz will have to forgive me if I hint that there are great things in store in the future with a related rule set. But the that relationship is really, like, there's sort of this triple pressure. Like even German Whispers aside, just the Fistamafel Fortress is a pretty interesting thing. And then, you know, fortresses already have like a pressure to be high. And so the interplay of that with the Whispers was really cool. So that is great. Great puzzle. Very good. Skojo, aren't you supposed to be on the road? Oh, a juggler puzzle? Okay. Okay. I can do, yeah, let's do it. Okay, juggler. I absolutely wanted, I'm obviously, like any sane person, a fan of juggler puzzles. Hopefully it only takes an hour. Oh my gosh, I'm terrified already. Okay, it only has 1 star, so maybe I shouldn't be terrified. Oh, I see you have a driver. Interesting. So, but that means you get to focus on Sudoku while your personal driver focuses on the. Okay, you're taking shifts. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. This is a very interesting looking grid. I have a phobia of all non-standard grids. I live in fear of them constantly. But we're just going to do it. Okay, we need... Should we stick with the current wallpaper? I actually really like the current wallpaper. I think we're going to stick with it because it's cool. Okay. In each in by in grid, normal in by in Sudoku rules apply. The indicated diagonals have the same sum. Well, that's cute. So you're telling me that these digits max out at 4, right? Is that what you're telling me? And that these digits max out at 6, so this is a 5-6 pair and this is a 5-6 pair? Is that, am I understanding the nature of the universe here? And then this 5-6 pair is going to put a 5-6 pair here and here. I hope I'm understanding this and I'm not just jumping in making horrible conclusions. So the indicated diagonals have the same sum. So the maximum sum here is 14. Is that true? And like the maximum is 14. If it's 2, 3, 4 pairs. And right now, the minimum sum here, I guess if this was 5, 5, it would be 10. And then we would have to make 14 there. You are also, and then the minimum sum, I suppose, well, the minimum sum is 10, 11, 12, I guess, right? If this was 5, 5, 1, 1. So our diagonals are 12, 13, or 14. Is that, excuse me, is that what we're discussing here? Maximum 14, 3, 4, 3, 4, right? Maximum 14, 3, 4, 3, 4. Minimum 10, 11, 12. So if we didn't have any 4s and we tried to maximize this, if we tried to have no 4s, then this is 3, 2, 3, 2, and that's 10, and that's no good. But we could do a 4, 3 with a 3, 2 and hit 12. But that does mean there's at least 1 4 on this diagonal and 1 4 on this diagonal. It also means that these digits have a maximum. If this was 10, we could have 1 3 to make the 14. So there's no 4s in here. These are 1, 2, 3 max, right? Is that a fair statement? Like if we have a 4 here, we're already at 14 minimum, and that appears to be the most we could possibly do. Going to put 4 in this little hat. It's going to put, see, I'm making this harder. I'm making this harder than it should be already. Making this harder than it should be, which should, surprise nobody. So what do we think about this? There's going to be some funny stuff in here. Okay, in terms of like, this is obviously, that's really interesting. This is obviously a 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is like a mini a little mini party. Can I have a 1 here? I ask because, like, if I have a 3, 4 over here, I think I can. If I have 4 plus 4 plus 3 plus 1, that would be 12. I think it is possible. It's a possible thing. Your 5 6s. Your 5 6s we kind of know about. Oh no, this is me making things hard again. This is obviously 1 2 3 4. Right? That's a statement I'm comfortable with. This little party hat. I mean, what does it mean to try to well, it means 4 is here, right? Because there's 4 is in here and 4 is in here. So 4 is in here. And it means, what else does it mean? It means 4 is in here and 4 is in here. Am I thinking about this correctly? There's definitely 4 in here. There's definitely 4 in here. So this is a 4. So this is a 4. So this is a 4. No. I'm sorry. That's not true at all. 4 is up here, is what is true. 4, which means 4 is not there because this is a little friend. So 4 is definitely here, so it's not here. What a interesting way to bounce around. Your 4, so interesting. Oh, did I make a mistake? Sorry, what did I do? Which 4? Did I do a bad 4? Let me walk through my logic again. There's a 4 in here. And there's a 4 in here. And this is a 5, 6. So there must be a 4 down here, right? Isn't that true? So I said that was true. There also must be a 4 in here. And there must be a 4 in here. So doesn't that mean there must be a 4 up here? Oh, am I misunderstanding something? Oh, I see. Well, wait, how? Maybe I'm misunderstanding something about the rules. Isn't there always a 4 in here and always a 4 in here? So there's never a 4 here? My corner mark in box 5 of the 6x6 is not justified. Sorry, this corner mark? You think this is not justifiable? Oh, I understand. Okay. Right. There's no overlap here. So, okay. Sorry. Forgive me. I haven't done a puzzle quite like this. These two cells have no bearing on the 6x6. Is that what I'm to understand? Right. So a 4 here does not prevent a 4 here. Okay, I'm sorry. I was kind of misunderstanding the relationship of the overlap. Which of course there's no 7 cell tall columns because there's not 7 digits. Of course there's not. I can see that very clearly now. Very silly of me. Okay, but this logic felt okay, right? So what else do we want to think about with that? So like our 5s and 6s are pretty rigidly accounted for. So we talked about this diagonal. We talked about this diagonal. We talked about maximums and minimums for these diagonals. We talked about, what did we talk about? We said that if this was 5 and this was 5 and this was 1, this could be 3. So we did squish our 4s over here, and that seems okay. There's some relationship between, also have to remember your, I mean, you know, obviously this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, but we unfortified this. This digit, I don't know if this is the way to think about this, but let's just talk about it. This digit must appear in here. Is this a fair statement? That this digit must be part of the 1, 2, 3, 4 from there. And it also needs to appear in here. So it has to appear where that overlap is allowed. And does that mean like that this digit, which must appear in here and in here, is there? Fortified, you know, fortified. Okay, okay. That is really interesting. So we get 1, 2, 3 here. And then what? Well, let me tell you. It does mean that yellow is down here. We don't, I mean, our relationship between these two 4x4s, this is one of those times where I can feel in my heart that I'm making things too hard, that I'm making things harder than they should be. But, you know, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna not color this box for a second, and I'm gonna spend time coloring this box, because this digit must appear in here and in here, and it's not there or there, and it does need to be in both of those, right? Like that seems like a thing that is true. And it does mean that this digit what does that mean? It means a couple things. It means this digit must appear in both of these places, but it also must appear in here. So how do I do that? Did I break the puzzle? Is this already wrong? Did I make a bad conclusion again? Because if I do this, and this digit is not, this I think checks out, right? This must appear in here. It's only there. So who are you? These aren't 8-cell rows. Juggler, something I need to explain to you. These aren't 8-cell rows. It's fine for this digit to be over here. In fact, it's required. For anyone who's not getting it, obviously I get it, and this is I'm using a rhetorical device where I pretend that I don't get it. This is actually the definition of irony. You know how people misuse the word irony all the time, but it's the most common usage, so it actually is what irony means. But some people will be like, when they're being very pedantic, will be like, well, actually, that's not irony, what irony is. This is irony, where I pretend to be oblivious to something and say and do things that are sort of nonsensical to prove my point. So this is kind of I'm presenting to you kind of a masterclass of rhetoric. So this person here, moronic, rude, Literally out of the box, outside the box thinking. You even made them different colors, and I still keep conflating them. Now, a thing that I think that I know is that, regardless of overlap, this digit must appear in here. And it's not those digits, and it's not those digits. So I'm gonna claim to you that this digit is there, and by virtue of that, is not one of these digits. So that's a thing I'm gonna claim. That doesn't mean it's true, but I do want to claim it. And so, right, because what I'm telling you is this digit must appear inside this red cage no matter what. And it's not 5, 6, and it's not there, which means it sees this, which I believe places that digit here. The cyan digit. That's a claim that I'm willing to make to you. Obviously that digit is in this neighborhood. What else do we know? Well, we know that that digit must appear in this box, and it's not here, and it's not in there. So it's going to be down here like a weirdo, and then it's going to be not down there, and it's going to be not there, so it's going to be here, also like a weirdo. I know this is not meant to be hard. I can feel myself making it harder than it's supposed to be. I could feel it in my bones. We do know that a 4 must exist on this diagonal, right? That is the thing that I have claimed to you. We do know from red logic only, pure red logic, that this is a pink-yellow party. Purely from the red grid, not thinking about the overlap, but we do have a party in progress. We also know, what do we know? Well, we know that red and yellow are not there, either of them, and nor are they there. I mean magenta and yellow, excuse me. So those are in this neighborhood. You could also think about them being in this column and not being there. That doesn't quite, I mean, doesn't that work? Like the pink and yellow in this column are not here or there. So this becomes also a pink-yellow pair. So that seems to imply that this is some mysterious additional digit known as the green digit. The mysterious green digit, which pairs with the blue digit here, it would seem. The minimum sum I said, oh, these are different digits, aren't they? They're different, Juggler. These are different digits. Again, this is rhetorical. It's irony here. These are different digits. The minimum sum only was applicable if this was 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1, but it's not. That means the current minimum sum is 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 2, so the minimum is now 13, which means something serious. And I think the thing that it means, though I kind of forgot what we said, was that we needed a 4 on both diagonals, because if we didn't have a 4 in both cases, if we only had one 4, it would be 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2, which would only be 12, which was not enough. So that says we do need double 4s, I think, right? Because right now we're at a minimum of 13. 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 2, 13. And 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2 is only 12. So we at least need 2 4s. So I'm going to tell you that I think this is a 4, is the thing that I'm going to say to you. That doesn't mean that it's true or that it's right, but it does mean that I put it in the grid. So what are you going to do about it? Now, a thing I know is that 4 is not pink. And I seem to know that for some reason. I know that. And that puts 4 here. And I also know that 4 is not cyan. So that seems to imply that 4 is green. This is that thing where I start to just barrel forward in a puzzle. And make silly mistakes. Probably. So, this is green. And this is cyan. Definitely green in here. Well, we have the same problem, sort of, right? We do need 4s along here. So this person is not a 4. It's not green, in other words. So, and I'm going to continually get this wrong and think that I've broken the puzzle because of this 4. There are no 8-cell rows. Does not exist. Not an option. Haven't we said that this is green? Which does not preclude this from being green, and in fact forces it to be. Because now we have said, well, we could have already seen that. There's definitely a 4 in here. So there's not a 4 there. So this is a 4, which looks so wrong to me that to the point that I find it offensive. I feel it's like a personal affront. This is why I can't do kind of these like irregular sort of grids, because they hurt my feelings in a pretty fundamental way. So now what are we doing? We definitely have a 4 here. We definitely have a 4 here, right? I believe that's the thing I keep telling you. And that is a whole lot of 4s, which seems to fortify this, which is great. And that means this sum, we already have 8, and we must hit 13 or 14, right? In fact, we maybe already know, and I just don't know yet. But anyway, that doesn't that set some minimums here? Because this is 8, so I need at least 5, and that means 1 is not allowed here, right? So this is either a 2-3 pair to make a 5, or it is a double 3 to make a 6. So that unonifies yellow. So this could be yellow, but it could also be pink, I think. Right? What color are you? You just are cyan. By some kind of Sudoku logic that hurts my eyes and my feelings. So you're not cyan, certainly. So you are pink or yellow. I will argue. That means you are also that. That means you are cyan. And so that sum is either 5 or so. Well, the same right. The same thing applies here. We can't have any 1s on this diagonal. because there's 2 4s, so it's 8, and we have to hit 13. So it's not. Am I wrong about that? To hit at least 5, what's that 1 going to add to? It's not 4, because the 4s are giving us the 8. I'm going to un-1ify these. Perhaps premature. This looks insane to me. I have a hard time thinking outside the box sometimes. I want to get back into the box. So what I would like to do is sort of migrate our coloring around the grid somehow. Where is your 4? This, again, outrageous to look at, but there is a 4 here. There's probably a way that I could have just sort of determined this from the other direction instead of making things so complicated, but hey. So what does that mean? In terms of our sums, where do we stand here? We haven't colored our 5, 6 digits yet, but we don't seem to really relate. We're kind of going, you know, if we got rid of the idea of double 5 being an option, then we know we were summing, we would know we would be summing to 14. This is also not a 1. This is from 2, 3, or 4. Does this mean? This almost means cyan is. Almost feels like this means cyan is 1, but I don't think that's quite true because I think we're still saying this could be double 3 to be 6. Why do I make everything so hard all the time? Unclear. Do we need to think about some fellas like... I'm wondering if I'm suffering... Oh, well, this is fine. It's fine. It's fine. In fact, both of these must appear. Pink must appear. Not pink. Cyan must appear in here somewhere, right? It's living outside of the world, and it's not any of those, and it seems to not be there. So it seems to be that that is cyan, and it seems to be that that is not cyan. I'm struggling with colors here. And we have like similar considerations. So this cyan does find an appearance. You make an appearance, you make an appearance. So there's some way to think about this, where any digit that's here must make an appearance over here. Meaning these are the same digits, right? But now maybe my colors are just confusing me. Like this digit must make an appearance in this row, and it's not there. So these are the same digit, but what does that mean? I mean, it obviously means that this is a taffy, a piece of saltwater taffy, banana strawberry. Is that what that looks like? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. This is exactly saltwater taffy. So the strawberry banana saltwater taffy, this is either strawberry or banana because it must appear, and then obviously it's up here as well. This fellow, this person must appear in here. You know, both of these and both of these. So this digit, I feel like my colors are now just confusing me, unfortunately. We do definitely need a 4 up here. That's true. Not there. One of these is 4. We need the other half of the 5-6 over here. See, the 5-6 relationship I'm struggling with. You're definitely a 4. You're definitely a 2-3. So is there a way to like take this around the grid that I am failing to see? Because we're going to have the same thing over here, right? Where it's 4 with either double 3 or a 2-3. So I guess one route to discovery is to decide whether or not these are the same digit. Oh. Well, I guess a thing I can tell you, this is certainly not double 6, right? That's of course impossible, because if it was double 6, then our minimum is 15, and we're in bad shape. And if it's 5-6, that's 11. So, you know, this becomes a maximum. This becomes 2 and this becomes 1. Or if it's 5, so I guess the thing that's like appearing interesting to me at this moment is like yellow is part of both of these sums, okay? And so if we said that we were trying to, I need to think about this for a minute. Yellow is part of both of these sums, and it's either yellow is 3, in which case we're trying to get to 14. But if yellow is 3 here, if yellow is 3, then this is a double 5 and this is a 1. That's what's true if yellow is 3. But if yellow is 2, then pink is 3. And cyan is 1. Does that logic make sense? If yellow is 3, then this is 10 and cyan is 1. But if yellow is 2, then pink is 3 and cyan is 1. So I guess the case I'm trying to make to you is that I think cyan is always 1. So for example, if I tried to make cyan 3, well, we already can't do that, right? If I try to make cyan 3, then this is 5 and we're at minimum 15. So already cyan is not 3, and I should have seen this already. If I try to make cyan 2, then yellow is 3. If I try to make cyan 2, then yellow... No, that doesn't work either, right? If I try to make cyan 2, then yellow is 3, and that's already 5. So cyan is just 1. Why am I having a hard time seeing this? Cyan's just 1, right? I sort of thought that earlier, and then I somehow convinced myself that that's not true, and I don't know. Juggler, why am I so bad at this puzzle? I know this is supposed to be easier than this. I know it. I feel it in my bones. We need to form me the other part of the 5-6. How embarrassing. A Sudoku luminary like Juggler sends me a puzzle, and then this is what I do with it. Outrageous. We're extraordinarily embarrassed. So does that give us a total, right? Our total is Did you really? And then everybody pushed it down. For me, there's definitely days where every single puzzle is 5 stars, and I don't exactly know why that is, but it just is. So what does that mean in terms of our diagonal party? It means we knocked 1 out of here. We knew that. We knew 1 was up here. Well, okay, 1 is cyan, and it must be here, and it must be here, right? That is a true statement, I would say. I mean, my ratings, I basically rate everything average when I rate it, because I have to like put it, it's almost like a handicap or something. Like I have to a lot for how bad I am at Sudoku. Like I don't want to pull the average in the wrong direction just because I'm not very good at Sudoku. So I basically say everything is 3 stars. We can start to think about the colors of these, if that's interesting to anyone. Seems a little bit interesting. Maybe it doesn't carry far enough to be truly interesting. We do. Oh, this seems like I broke something, actually. No, it's fine. I was going to say, where does pink appear? It's in the column already. It's in the column already. So the question we have to contend with at this moment is, this is certainly a 1. So these digits, do we know our sum now and I'm just missing it? Because this could be 5, 5. Yeah, if we could get our colors to just you know, pop up a little bit. Obviously know this is a 2, 3. We know this. Oh, this. Can we start to unfurl our? Gosh, not quite. Almost. In fact, I'm gonna make a declaration here. We're gonna. This is 2, 3 for some reason, and we know that 2, 3 is the banana pair. What's the opposite of disambiguate? I'm gonna ambiguate these. Because the ones I think I want to disambiguate are these, because it seems like these will propagate better. So if we disambiguate these, no. Then this becomes one of this digit's. No. What have I done? This digit's going to be up here. That doesn't seem like it works. I think I made a mistake. Oh no, did I make a terrible mistake? Okay, it feels like I made a silly mistake and now I'm struggling with it. This does not disambiguate this. Sorry, that was a completely false statement. It definitely doesn't, in fact. Like this digit does appear here, right? Whatever this digit is. Okay, let's try this again. You are going to be banana only. You are going to be strawberry only. This digit is here, right? And so it is not in here because of Redland. And that means in proper world, in the real world, the red world, you are this flavor. Is this right? Wait, did I ruin your day? What did I do? Life is yours. What have I done? I mean, other than breaking the puzzle, you know I love to do that. I mean, that's just normal. So we are going to place this fellow. You don't know. You're just accusing me. I got to show you, Life is yours, some of the stuff I've been making. Like, if I could just make nonsense all day. I spent so much time on this outrageously complicated box, but I think it's going to be cool. It's going to mount under the musical chair. The probably be made of wood or HDPE. It'll have all of the equipment mounted in it. I got this very exciting tiny Meanwell power supply, which will output 5 volts for the Raspberry Pi and 12 volts for the amplifier. It's all very exciting. And I'm spending way too much time on it. Way too much time on it. I know, I need to just get back to streaming the nonsense. The problem is, at least some people, it's kind of like a Roomba. It's not on wheels, it's just under the chair. The chair no longer rolls. In the museum, the chair will not roll, which is, I think, is a reasonable compromise so no one is permanently damaged. Okay, so what have we done? We still didn't do the thing I was trying to do. Right? The thing I was trying to do, well, we have this, so this is for sure, 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 and this is pink, right? I don't know what this is. Nobody cares. This is this. This is such an interesting puzzle. So you're telling me there's an outrageously harder version of this that is 1,000,000 stars that maybe I shouldn't do on stream? Because I'm struggling with even the I'm struggling with the training wheels version. I feel like finally now, whatever we are, an hour in, however far I'm in, I feel like I'm like finally starting to sort of understand the relationships here. Which is embarrassing, but what are you gonna do? I'll tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna be embarrassed all the time because that's just how I live my life. Do we still not know this? Do we still not know if we are summing to 14 and 15? That seems outrageous. Now, something okay, hang on, right, I think we did definitively say is that this digit is on both lines, right? And if it's a 3, this is a double 5 and a 1, and this is a 2. Okay, I feel like I'm like, okay. If this digit is a 3, right? Then this is a double 5 and a 1 to be 14. And that means this must also be a 3. So in that scenario, these are all 3s. There's thousands of 3s. We're covered in 3s, right? I think that's true. If it's a 2, then this is a 1. But couldn't this be 5, 6? No, because if I'm trying to decide if it could be a 14. 5 plus 6 plus 2 plus 1, but it can't be, because as soon as this is a 2, this is 2 plus 5, and this is only 13. So am I trying to argue that this is a double 5? If this is 5, we already said it's not 6 plus 6 plus 2 plus 1, because that's too big. If it's 6 plus 5 plus 1, that's 13 already. No, I'm sorry. 6 plus 5 plus 1 is 12 already. So this is definitely a 2 to make 14, right? If we put it at 1, 6, it's 6 plus 5 plus 1 is 12, and then this could only be 2 to make 14. But if this is 2, it's max 2 plus 3, is 5 plus double 4 is only 13. So I'm going to tell you that I think this is double 5. That doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's right, but it's what I'm going to tell you. And as soon as that is double 5, what does that mean to us? Okay, see, Juggler has an easier path forward. I've never taken the easy path. I've never taken the easy path in my life. In fact, I seem to have some, it's not even a philosophy necessarily, because that sounds like deliberate in some way. There's a line in a Of Montreal song that I love, that I listened to, oh gosh. I had a nervous breakdown basically when I was 29, and I listened to the song 1,100 times in a week. But there's one line in the song about choosing the thorny path, and I just was somehow born to choose the thorny path. I don't know why. Okay, so what we got, millions of digits here, tens of thousands of digits that are summing to 13 or 14, and probably we actually know what we're doing, right? Because, or is it still possible for this to be? Now this digit, it feels like I should know some things. I should know some things. I should know that this is yellow within the world of, so you are not yellow, so you are yellow. That seems like a cool person thing to say. And it also seems like we know the coloration of the mainland, which means we also know the coloration of outer space over here, right? Which does give us a double. Finally, we've done it. So is this true? That this is a double 3? Which is going to double 3 this, which unpinkifies it, which unbananifies this, which unbananifies this, and strawberryfy. Nope. Does bananify this. You don't want to. Bananification, you know, there's that like physics phenomenon when you get sucked into a black hole and your body is just sucked into a tube, and it's called spaghettification. What bananification sounds like. Okay, I know that shouldn't have taken 47 minutes. That puzzle was so cool. That puzzle was great. It was really fun. It was really interesting logic. It's embarrassing that it took me like 45 minutes to kind of like wrap my head around how the things work. Thank you very much for the congrats. I feel like the coolest thing about it that I should have seen immediately, but my mind could just not see it, is, you know, the way that whatever's in here is forced to exist upstream. Or, you know, these like little satellite digits, they still have to exist in here. So it's not that, which I very incorrectly assumed at first, that like there was like an exclusion. There's like a forced inclusion. Like it's forced that this exists in this world somewhere, which is a really interesting thing that kind of bends my brain a little bit. It's like a baseball through garden holes. There is that other thing, that like terrible sort of gosh, it's horrible. It's like what is it called? Diver tank pressure death. There's a terrible diagram for it. What is it called? I don't think you call it spaghettification. This thing, what is this called? It's called Oh No. Because if you have this is weird physics to describe, but basically there's a point at which in a small hole like this, and enough water pressure, which is not even that much, will create a level of pressure through this little aperture that your whole body will just be like sucked in, and it's not good. Okay, Juggler, thank you so much for the great puzzle, and thank you for supporting me as I stumbled through it. I appreciate it. Yeah, there's a video of this happening to a crab. It can also happen to a human, which is very bad. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you right now. I am not going to do the full version of this puzzle right now, and maybe never on stream. I don't know. How do you do the solution code? Is just row 8? The 8 digits of row 8? Does that not work right? Oh, that's not row 8. Wait. Sorry, no, it's row 2, 8 digits. I'm incapable of reading. That puzzle, I'm going to call average, and I'm going to say very nice. Submit. Ugh, not good. Not good. Don't work on oil rigs, is what I'm going to say. So let's just take a look at what a 3-star version of this. I actually do feel like I have my head kind of around it now. Well, that's adorable. Look at these little cuties. It's like little Dr. Mario and Full House. Oh no. Oh no. This is horrifying. This feels manageable. But I've already been streaming for 3 hours, so. Life is yours. Remember when you were the only person, you and Dracula were like the only people on earth that watched my streams, and I used to make things and I would stream all the time, like for 6 hours a day? I should probably, now I've gotten to where I just work on things all the time off stream that I probably could just work on stream. I just don't know that anybody would care. How do I get, I've talked about this before. I don't know if I've ever actually shown it. 1,000 True Fans essay. When was this from? 2008? There's an older version of that. This says 2008. I'm almost sure I read this earlier than that. But maybe that was in the original. Okay, there was an original. Yeah, it's really interesting because this person wrote this kind of before Kickstarter, Patreon, wrote this before kind of the notion of influencers, anything. And not that it's a recipe for being an influencer, but it's an essay about like what it takes to actually sort of make a living doing what you want to do. And I think if I remember correctly, the author's talking about kind of in the context of music, of like being a band. Do you need 1 million people buying your albums or whatever? And no. The case this person is making is like, look, you can make a reasonable living as a person if you get enough people to care about it. And so this has now been stuck in my head for, whatever, over 15 years. See, look at Life is Yours. What a sweetheart. That is very sweet of you, Life is Yours. But remember, I'm now evil. And that means I just want your money. So, I used to like you, but now I have, removed all human emotion from it. And I'm evil. Let's try this. I don't have my phone in here. Hey Siri, turn off the lights in the office. Hey Siri, set office backdrop to red. How's that? Or is it better with just the... It doesn't look like I'm evil. It just looks like I'm in a submarine. I know. You're so evil you gave me money. I don't know exactly what to make of that. There's a Frogs song called I'm Evil Jack. Is this music evil? This is by Purple Cat, who I like in my quest to find all this like Creative Commons public domain music. Purple Cat was a revelation. Look at these listens. Purple Cat is good stuff. Purrple at Bandcamp. Let me just recommend. Here's a recommendation for you, everyone. Purple Cat, good albums. Also, Purple Cat has a bunch of albums, I believe, on. Oh gosh, what it's called? Oops. There's some public domain archive. What are you called? Dang it. This is not what I'm looking for. PURRP at free. There's like free music archive or free stock music. Anyway, there's a lot of albums from Purple Cat that are available for free. They're all good. And now whenever there's new ones on Bandcamp, I just buy them to support Purple Cat, which is not very evil, right? I should probably steal them. What is the name of that? Is this thing? I think they kind of broke this site, unfortunately. Like this site that used to be good and have lots of free music. They tried to kind of commercialize it. Yeah, there's some completely free albums from Purple Cat here. All good. These are all good albums. Is this the whole discography? Anyway, don't do that though. Go instead to Bandcamp and buy Purple Cat's albums because they're great. It's good. Yeah, it's all great. I'm a big fan. Good stuff. You can also just listen to everything. Purple Cat is the cornerstone of Fizz, basically, along with Halizna. Who I support on Patreon. Also, tons of incredible albums. What is this? Dream Memory Part 3 Ambient Chill. I don't have this one yet. Anyway, it's all good. I think did we actually just finish the full Purple Cat playlist, or did I just break it by clicking buttons? Probably broke it. Okay, well, I'm just going to sit here in my submarine. I guess I'm going to go eat lunch. Everybody, thank you for stopping by. Sudoku crew, I appreciate it. Scojo, I hope you have fun at Brandon's wedding. Helio, LM Damasi, Screaming Ice Cube. Everybody, thanks for stopping by. Juggler, thanks for the puzzle. And as always, the crowning, I don't even know what to say. Like the ambassador, but like I need a good title for Life Is Yours. The just royalty when it comes to this channel. Anyway, I'm leaving this place. Goodbye. I'll see you next time.